Well, hello. How are you? Have you been all right? I was wondering if anybody would show up. I made a couple of announcements, but waiting to see if anybody's going to be here. Hey, welcome. Hey, first person here, can you please tell me how the music volume is? I'm just trying something a little different, and I wanted to see how the music is coming through. And I have a feeling it probably sounds really terrible. And I just want you to tell me that it sounds either really terrible or decent. So I just got off of work. I just got off of work at 8:40. When did I expect to get off today? 5 p.m. I pulled the last loan. So I was the last to leave, except for my supervisor. He has to stay. But yeah. So it is playing from an iPhone, so I can kill it if it's affecting anything in a negative way. But I really enjoy this soundtrack, and I was listening to it for most of the day on repeat. So Friday night is the night that she goes shopping, so we have to rearrange our entire schedule. Rest day for now. I'll get it right someday. Someday, SOME, you get it. All right, maybe I'll turn the music off because I feel like I'm competing for volume. But I also like, I don't know, if you could hear the music clearly at low volume, like if I could play it as a background within the video, that would be what's ideal. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and turn the music off, and we'll just hope that'll probably clear up the choppiness. That's more than likely what was going on anyway. If you were experiencing any choppy, so it's all good. It's all good. Oh no, there was also there's a dead spot in the road back there. So if there was a glitchy in the choppiness, it's because I was driving through a dead zone. That happens. So yeah, I'm literally going to get home, go to right when I get home, and I'm going to wake up and go back to work. It's what's about to happen. And yeah. They hired 10 people to prevent this from happening, but it takes people time to get acclimated to literally one of the most chaotic, bureaucratic, nonsense world documentation, data entry jobs of all time. It's not straightforward. It's like, well, here's the rules. Oh, by the way, there are 14 exceptions, or 17 exceptions, or 3 exceptions, or 21 exceptions, depending on the state, or the type of loan, or this or that. But here's the rules. But you get to know the rules, but you don't get to know the exceptions. You have to learn the exceptions, and we can't list the exceptions. You have to learn them. We can't write them all out because they'd be too extensive. We just don't do it that way. And that's basically how people have to learn how to do the job. And that's how it is. So it is what it is. It's okay. It's fine. It is what it is. Somebody had bagels, like Panera Bread bagels. And I ate one, But now I feel like really overwhelmingly either hungry or full and sick. Really weird sensation. It was like noon when I ate my lunch because I was really hungry. So then I had my bagel around 6 p.m.-ish. And that's way later than I normally eat. I don't know, my stomach feels really weird. I can't tell if I'm really hungry or if I'm something else. It's really strange. But welcome everybody, and to you in the chat, Mr. Lupo. This morning's video, or I think it was this morning, I shipped out your yeah, it was definitely this morning. It just feels like a different day because that's how long the workday was. But I shipped your necklace. Not your, but the one that you purchased. And also, I may or may not have misspelled your name. And it's your YouTube name. I have a feeling it's not your real life name, so I don't know if that'll cause any issues, but you know, it is what it is. It's whatever. I mean, some people send mail and they literally just write the word grandma, so it can't be that big of a deal. But I can email you his tracking number if you really want it. Welcome, everyone. I see that there's plenty of you here, but no thumbs ups. That's fine if that's how you want to treat me. You know, that's just fine. That's a big one. Looks like it's in pretty good condition. Whoa. 2 RVs back to back. How about that? Traveling at nighttime. Well, what was my topic? I wish it could be a little bit more helpful as far as that goes. There's the thumbs up. Thank you very much. At least 5 of the 7 of you said, all right, I can do that. It's not too hard. Sometimes it's just too hard. Sometimes things are just too hard. All right, so what was my topic? I'm behind one of these vehicles that carries the cars, and it's like 4 inches from the ground. And it's like bouncing. It's like, I haven't seen it scrape any sparks yet, but it's really close to the ground. It's really weird. Really close. It was a pretty big bump. Boom. Oh my goodness. It's crazy. It's really, really close to the ground. Anyway, I've seen them scrape, taking turns. I also saw one slam. The car actually slammed into another car on the thing. I watched that happen too. That's kind of crazy. You know, what happens to those cars? Like a brand new car, do they just repair it and then sell it? That's probably what happens. I mean, yeah, anyway. I thought I had a good topic. There was a couple of things that were on my mind that I was like, yeah, it's a little too TMI-y. Wait, is TMI? No, TMZ. Wouldn't it be funny if there was a news station called TMI? That's great. Guys, I'm constantly coming up with literal $1 million ideas. When are you guys going to make $1 million and then send me just 1/10 of 1%, just as a consolation for the amazing brilliance? Guys, I'm giving you $1 million ideas. I shared As the Beard Groweth with you guys, and let me know when that becomes a reality. I'll be a guest on the show. I'd be happy. I'd be honored, even though it's my idea. I'll even write your first episode for you. You just have to find a producer or whatever. As the Beard Groweth, the best hipster soap opera in the history of mankind. I mean, really amazing. And then I shared the other idea with you guys. I'm going to keep sharing it because not everybody gets to hear it every time. And there's no one person watches every single video that I make. It's very impractical. And I would never expect that at all. Anyway, here's the thing. Here's my idea. My idea is, hey, I just realized my iPhone actually shines a little light on my face. You can see me a little bit as opposed to complete darkness. That's kind of cool. So here's my idea. I said Skype mechanic, but that's not what the name would be. It'd be something else. But you're the expert, and you Skype in with somebody that's willing to do, hey, I want to learn how to do an oil change. And you Skype together, and they pay you money for directing them each and every step of the way to do their own oil change or to do their own whatever it is. I'd like to learn how to change my carburetor. I'd like to learn how to swap out my spark plugs. Yeah, I can do that. $25 an hour. I'm sitting on my couch with a book and a laptop, but I'm still going to charge you $25 an hour. That's fair. That's more than fair. I'm a material expert, blah, 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 blah. I'm not the material expert. One of you guys is. And this is $1 million idea, okay? I'm sharing these ideas with you because I care. Because I care. Great ideas. Now, we did have that one idea that might not go over. I shared it at the beginning of this month. Can't believe that was at the beginning of this month. This month changed everything for me. This was the month that YouTube took away live streaming from my cell phone. Changed my entire life this month. My life within this month, it changed my life inside of this month drastically. But, you know, in the scope of my actual life, it's completely meaningless. And I'll probably forget that it ever happened. But, so there's that. But the idea was a special type of work debt labor camp, indentured servitude. That one was a little sketchy of an idea. So we can go ahead and pass on that one. But these other ideas, guys, I've got the ideas. And I don't know if you can see that, but I was pointing at my head because I've got ideas. I'm a smart guy. I think of ideas all the time. Not all my ideas are great, though. Oh, I want some injera. I really want some injera. That is a meal that I could eat almost any time that I'm like, oh, I'm not hungry at all. I can't even think of what I would want to eat right now. Ethiopian food, anytime. I don't care what you people say, trying to make fun of the Ethiopians. I love that food. Ikalija, Segawat, Dorowat, and the injera, guys. The injera. It is otherworldly. At least it's another. You get it. So sometimes people get a little surprised when I tell them I have a YouTube channel with 330 subscribers. I should probably emphasize that no more than 20 people have ever. Actually, no, there's like 21 once, but there's never been like 10%. But then again, when you're talking about live stream subscription to viewer ratio, 10% would be extremely high anyway. What in the world? Dude had pink headlights, like super pink. Like, shining the world in pinkness. So pink. All right, pick up the speed, buddy. Come on, buckaroo. Got to get up to the speed limit. Are we there? Are we there yet? Yeah, we did it. There's 10 of you here, supposedly, and I see 6 thumbs ups. Guys, I really wish I could read what you were saying. I almost wish I could hear what you were saying. You know, I wanted to be able to do a Google Hangout. Hypothetically, I could have done that. Oh, dang. No, it's in my pocket. Hypothetically, I could have done that on my drive home because it is a laptop. I could still do a Google Hangout. But, I don't know. I just think it would work out, so. And it would be, you know, I'd be getting home, have to cut it short. I don't know. It's not ideal. It's not ideal. I always day storming. It's called brainstorming. Who are you? Still trying to figure that out. But I know God made me and my identity is in Christ. And that takes a long time to really wrap your mind around and to accept and to live out. It continues to impact your life the more and more you get that. Very important. But, oh, here's an interesting thing that happened today. So I learned some things today. So I have made these tools that some of you have heard me talk about, the tools that I've made for my team. And I've always been confused and suspicious and confused as to why certain people on my team would refuse to use my tools. And I learned why that was. I figured the reason out today. And it's a reason that I wouldn't have initially thought. Let me tell you about it. So I did these amazing things. Things that save time. And time is money. And when you factor in aggregate, when you aggregate the numbers, you recognize that the tools that I built times 100. So if it saves 15 seconds, if it saves 3 minutes, if it saves 8 minutes, times 100. So basically altogether, on average, my tools save about 5 minutes per loan on average. That is about, so 100 loans, we had over 100 today. And that's 500 minutes today. I don't even know if I worked. Did I work 500 minutes? 12, 10, 6. Yeah, obviously I worked that many minutes, but I just took me a minute to do the math there, but 500 minutes. So, what is it? 480? Yeah. So 480. So yeah, that's right. So my tool counts as at least one entire employee as a ghost employee. That's $28,000 plus all the secret money that they pay the contracting agency that I saved my department. So here's the thing, though. One of the tiny components of my tool that isn't the bulk of my tool, it saves maybe 15 to 45 seconds. That tool requires updates. Some of my other tools would work 10 years from now, and those are the ones that are actually the most useful and will last super long, and everybody's using those. But some of the tools that require updates, and I update them very fastidiously, there's a handful of people on my team that won't use them. And I always wondered why that was. I didn't know if it was because they were just stubborn or whatever it was. I figured it out. They're annoyed / fearful might not be the best word, but they're annoyed at the fact that I will someday leave the team. Obviously, it's not a team that people like get permanently put into. It's a transient kind of department. Lots of turnover, lots of moving on, so on, stuff like that. So anyway, because when I leave, there won't be anybody that has the know-how to update it, and it will become very quickly obsolete. They don't want to get in the habit of using it because they fear what will happen when I'm gone. And I was like, it's a really relatively valid reason. I get that. So I created these tools to be a help to myself because I'm frustrated by lack of efficiency. So I created these efficiency tools, and I use them. And then some of the people on my team do also use them, but some of the more permanent, the ones that actually are employees, are the ones that aren't using it because they know that they'll still be there even when I'm gone, and they don't want to get used to something that helps their job, and then me leave and their job get harder. It's like, wow, that actually makes a whole lot of sense. It's very interesting. The part I'm thankful for is that tiny component is just a tiny component, and most of the other tools that I've made are permanent tools and they don't require updates. And when I say tools, I have made special filtering tools within spreadsheets, the Excel, that perform tasks that would otherwise take a long time. And by a long time, I mean 3 to 15 minutes. I mean, in some cases, 30 minutes, but that would be an exceptional case. But anyway, I learned that, and I was like, wow, that's really helpful to know. Made me, it just relieved my suspicion and curiosities. It's like, okay, it's not personal, it's logical, and I can definitely accept that way better. It's not that they have something against me or change. It's just a logical decision, and that's great. That's really. I all these things over the last couple of days for the new team members to make sure that it was just perfect, and I had multiple updates, and each time I communicated to the entire team via email and our messaging system, and I said, absolutely make positive you are using this version. Do not use any other version. Use this most recent update. What do? Oh, I can't find this thing, blah, blah, blah. Are you using the most current version? Yeah, absolutely. I opened up from the email. What does it say at the top of your screen? What version does it say? Oh, it doesn't. You're not using the most current version then. Please pull up the most current version. Oh, Devin, you're being so rude to these new people. They're new. They don't know what they're doing. Follow instructions. You're just being impatient, and that definitely comes across as rude, and you need to not do that. You're right. You are right. I do need to be more patient. I do need to be more understanding. I do need to watch how I communicate to others. Impatience and losing a certain level of niceties or whatever. It doesn't go over very well in the business environment. Completely understand. But I am frustrated when it's all been laid out and I've put so much effort into doing everything neat and tidy, clean, and perfect. It's not perfect, but as close as it possibly can be. All right, let me look at the chat while I still have a chance. We had 10 and everybody left. No, not really. Just 4 of you left. Funny, the 4 people that didn't give me thumbs ups, they left. Matt D, you have no idea what I'm talking about. That's okay. I'm very familiar. Very familiar with Saturday. Shabbat. I am very familiar. You know, there's people out there. I'll tell you about something else. We could talk about something else. There are people out there that believe that God cares more about how you say his name than whether or not you love him. And no, they wouldn't necessarily put it in those words, but in action, that's how they act. I'm going to need to fill up. I'm going to fill up tonight because I don't want to do that in the morning. Nope. But isn't that interesting? People will sometimes act like the how is so much more important than the what. Not always is it the thought that counts. That's not always true. I understand. But sometimes the heart is a whole lot more important than the appearance, than what appears to be. We need to remember that. Yes, we should strive for the appearances as well. There's some relevance, importance to that. Can't believe it's after 9. Anyway. Because here's another thing. I mean, today, you should have put down all your encumbrances, all the things that are preventing you from resting and observing the Sabbath. You should have done that at sundown today. So there's that. Erev to Erev. Vahi Erev. From evening to evening. Now I remember what I need to say in the morning. I used to say it to my Orthodox Jewish boss, and he always gave a real big smile when I said it. It's really fun. So I'll greet you all tomorrow morning with what I used to say to him. And no, it's not Shabbat Shalom, although that is definitely appropriate tomorrow morning too. But, I'll share the other one with you. But anyway. It's really my only response to it, guys. If you feel it necessary to admonish me for working tomorrow, that's good. If you make it good, if you're doing it out of some sense of virtue signaling, well, that wouldn't be any good at all. But if you're doing it from a point of, hey, I believe this is the truth, and I'm encouraging you to consider this, and here's my evidence for what I'm saying, and it's not just a mandate and a command, but it is anytime you don't do it, you're basically losing your salvation every time. You're pretty much losing your salvation if you don't observe the Sabbath. Pretty much 100%. That's what the Bible says. That's the way people act. Oh, I didn't say that. You're being ridiculous. Am I being ridiculous? I think that sometimes people act, lose your salvation if you don't observe the Sabbath. Am I criticizing observing the Sabbath? Absolutely, I'm not. I know that you need to. I think that there's a little nuance. Otherwise, why don't I go to work on Sunday? Well, that's not, you don't have to depend on your workplace to establish your week. You establish your own week because God established the week as the first day, and you just have to act accordingly. Yeah, I do act accordingly in principle. And in a lot of ways, guys, just going to say, tomato, tomato. I observe the Sabbath. I'm not worshiping some pagan ritual or any other weirdness. Okay, I do observe the Sabbath. Is it on the day that you like? Maybe not. Is it on the day that God likes? I'll find out when I get there. All your life, well, not all your life, but a lot of your life, you kept on saying you were observing the Sabbath, but you literally never observed the Sabbath because you did it on the wrong day for like 70 years. Always the wrong day. You observed the Sabbath, but you didn't observe it on the right day. And that's really crazy. And, you were going to get treasure in heaven for all those days that you could have celebrated the Sabbath or observed the Sabbath on the right day of the week. But because you observed it on the wrong day of the week, I'm going to hold that against you. And my grace for you and me dying on the cross and all that stuff, it's rendered pretty much obsolete because you observed the Sabbath on the wrong day of the week. Completely meaningless. I mean, you were sinning every single time you were acknowledging me, giving praise and worship and resting and not working and not profiting and all those things that you were doing. You did it on the wrong day. And that made it completely meaningless. And I'm just, I don't even know what you were thinking. Just completely stupid. And no treasure in heaven for you. And I'm going to have to think really hard whether or not my death on the cross really covered your sins, because you kept on sinning for years and years, observing the Sabbath on the wrong day of the week. I don't know, guys. Think about it. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. The foolishness of God confounds the wise. I could be wrong. You could be too. No. Sunday's the first day of the week. Saturday's the last day of the week. Last day of the week is the seventh day. Seventh day, we're supposed to observe the Sabbath. Simple math. Gospel bearer, you're wrong. You're all the way wrong. You're 100% wrong, not even 99.99% wrong. You're 100% wrong. And the consequence for you being wrong, gospel bearer, is what? Well, if you are sinning and you know that you're sinning, gospel bearer, is there any time that you sin and you know that you're sinning and you still do it anyway? What is the consequence? Well, is it evidence of bad fruit? Here's the thing, though. I literally do not know that I am sinning because I disagree with the premise. That could make me really ignorant, in which case I have to deal with that. Or it could make everybody else a little too special. But observing the Sabbath is unquestionably an expectation, a commandment, unquestionably. It's back to the Yahweh versus Yahuwah. Guys, daddy, faja, father, abba, papa, pappy. Do you really, really think? But yeah, pronunciation, that's not related to the days of the week at all. You can't argue that the days of the week are just the difference is like pronunciation. It is along the same lines. It is, actually. It is along the same lines. And this person, are they staring? I didn't realize that I had a person like within eye shot of the camera. They don't know that they're being captured. So I just wondered if they were staring at me. I agree, Bigby. I agree. Who's Pharisaical? She's texting the police. She's like, there's a guy talking really loud in his car. Think we need to get this checked out. Did she look at me though? I completely she could kill you all. Yeah, I mean, I think that there's a little bit of a myth to that, but I could be completely wrong. Take her out. Oh my gosh. Please don't say that. That's ridiculous. All right, so I went on a little tirade there. I get it. I did definitely I just realized it was Friday. Hey Justin. I know, man. This week is just crazy. And my whole family is all sick and I need to fill up my car. Um Wait, what's Nightwave? You're not talking about those special people, are you? I don't know what you're talking about, Bare Arms. Yeah, we're to 9 thumbs ups. Thanks for doing that. Um yeah, I agree with the I don't hold it. Yeah. The stream went kaput. Oh no. Yeah, I know. And Jesus also worked on the Sabbath. And, well, that wasn't work. The Pharisees sure thought it was, but he didn't profit. And I don't profit on my day of rest either. It's not your day of rest. She's seen so much. Oh my gosh. Chocolate. Yeah, buying chocolate is actually always a good idea, but this is a Tom Thumb. They might have a good chocolate. I might just do that. Not a bad idea. Tough. All right, I'm gonna turn this thing off, and I might run in and grab chocolate. It's not a bad idea. Usually winds up being about $50, just for the record. Why does he always tell us how much his gasoline is? Just saying. Just saying what it is. I'll be back. It's $3.04 this time. $3.04. Yeah. I was about to say, you drive a can? $300 on 8 gallons. That's wow, buddy. That's impressive. I'll tell you what. So like I do mid grade because I'm a psychopath. Uh, it's 273 for regular. Um, all right. So I grew up. My first car was a 1984. I'm sorry. My first car was a 1984 Saab, and it was a turbo. So because it was a turbo, I had to put premium. So I got in the habit of putting premium. Then I had a 1989 Park Fifth Avenue for a short while. And whenever I put regular gasoline in it, it ran horrible. But when I put mid-grade, everything changed. I'll be back. I'm going to go grab some chocolate. $50.40. It's amazing. Wow, it's so crazy to me. It's so crazy to me that there would be more people. I'm so boring that there would rather be more people here when I'm not here than when I am. That's just amazing to me. But you know, thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging out. My wife, I don't know if you saw what was in my hands, but she had mentioned a sub, and Subway and all that stuff. Maybe they are still open, but I just figured, hey, well, it's not like gourmet or anything, but so I just went ahead and got her sub that just happened to be there. So, and a Cadbury egg, because eggs are yeah, eggs are for eating, guys. Eggs are for eating. Woo! Excuse me. All that movement. A lot of strange characters out tonight in that gas station. A lot of strange ones. Saw somebody that was about 5'6", and probably 13 pounds. I thought that they had that was the case. I didn't see any words. I just saw yellow and skinnier than a pencil, and I think that there were about 13 pounds, possibly. Have a better understanding of what God loves, what he cares about, what his will is, and how to be obedient to him. I care about it, and I want to be obedient to him. I literally do. Not just, oh, it'd be nice if, but like literally. And there are definitely times and ways that I definitely get it wrong. Definitely. I just repeated those words because I recognized that I repeated them throughout that sentence. I acknowledge that I get it wrong sometimes. But I want to get it right, and I'm trying. So I was under the impression that was not the whole point, but a big part of the point. Also, you guys should dig into what it means when Jesus says to be perfect. You should dig into what that means. What voice, not voice, what not form, voice is not the right, or maybe voice, is it voice or is it, okay, is it active or is it passive? What is the state in which that is being said? Is it and not passive or active, but that's not the words. Is there finality to it? Is it something you accomplish, or is it ongoing and something you are accomplishing? That's the question I have for you. When Jesus says, "Be perfect as I am perfect," is he saying that you accomplish it and you actually reach it, or is he saying that you are being to be being perfect? And in English, we just have limited means to say things in certain voices. Voice, I don't know if that is the right linguistic word. It's been a long day, and I'm drawing a blank on the right word for this. But does it mean to become perfect, or does it mean to be being perfect? So there is a difference between trying and accomplishing. There is. But look it up. Figure out what he's trying to say there. Do a little commentary study. All right. Well, we're at the end of the road. All the way at the end of the road. Chickens. Yeah. I went ahead and did the unauthorized just to show support. But yeah, his chat is garbage. It's terrible. Hopefully he'll transition all the way over to unauthorized, and there will be live streaming chat, and that'll be great. But I'm annoyed that I am not authorized for unauthorized TV. That's annoying to me. You have to be authorized to be unauthorized. We're not here to build anybody's YouTube channel. We're so special and developed, and we've made it in life, and we're not here to help anybody out. Good for you there, buddy. All right, you all have a good night. I think that there's some individuals with a little bit too much pride. They really think something of themselves, and maybe it's true. Maybe they really just are awesome. Maybe they aren't. All I know is it all pales in comparison to the glory and righteousness of God. So read your all's Bibles, study. Look up what Jesus was talking about when he said be perfect. And y'all have a good night.